In this double-header episode, we will catch up with two South American stars, Barbara Riveros and Diego Moya, looking at the past, present and future of Chile triathlon. And don't forget to check out the latest winter triathlon action from Asiago on triathlonlive.tv, as well as the new Going Beyond series, with Lauren Steadman meeting some of the personalities on the para-triathlon circuit. Today on the World Triathlon Podcast, we welcome Chile's Barbara Riveros. With a hatful of World Series podiums and 3 Olympic appearances to date already, Barbara will be hoping to make it 4 this summer in Tokyo. It was at Rio 2016 that she finished just outside the medals in 5th, putting Chilean triathlon firmly on the map once more, just as she has throughout her career. So, Barbara, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, Kai, for having me. It's a pleasure and really excited, to be part of the whole community, and especially, ITU always are a huge, believing in myself. If it wouldn't be for ITU, I wouldn't be, probably going to 3 Olympic and, being where I am at the moment. So thank you so much for all the help.
Well, unfortunately, we have a fine system now. So if you mention ITU instead of World Triathlon, then you get kind of points on your license. But you were something of a pioneer for Chilean triathlon, right?
It was really, we have Christian Busto, as a triathlete. He was on hero pretty much. He was the one that brought Chile in the world, in the planet, He was second in Hawaii behind Mark Allen. So that make, huge boost in triathlon in Chile. Mm-hmm. So the country never really focused in the Olympic distance, or, we have one that it went, Matthias Brain went to Sydney Olympic, but he qualified by a wild card. So for many, many years, the federation didn't have funding, and it was everything, really stuck there. Luckily, I had my dad that, he always was a big believer of, we have to get out of the country, exposed to different culture. Like we spent a lot of the time in America because, it's the same continent, so it was easy for us. But yeah, if it wouldn't be for my dad, it never, would be happening that we were traveling a lot and trying to expose to different levels and races. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, Christian Busto, thank you to him. The triathlon in Chile, it was something that it become very popular, and maybe not so much, as I said, in the Olympic distance, but very much in the long distance and Ironman.
Okay, so as you were growing up, that he was very much like the kind of icon of the sport at home, was he then? So and getting plenty of exposure and
definitely. As you said, even I guess we used to have a lot of exposure in triathlon in those days, especially in summer, because triathlon is a summer sport. So other sports in summer are a bit more quiet. So triathlon was really, in the media a lot of the time. And then, we have a big event that's Pucón 70.3. That's usually now is part of Ironman, league. But in that time, it wasn't. It was a funny distance. I think it was like, I don't know. It was 1.6 swim, 60 bike, and 16 run. Mm-hmm. And even at the time, the people like Paula Newey-Fraser, Mark Allen, Tom the Boone, they will come and race, and it was, for us, it was very motivated, I remember being racing on Friday, the Iron Kid, and then waiting for Sunday to watch these guys. And, like even that time, maybe Paula Newey-Fraser was just, the champion of Kona, and she was just like next to us, and we will see everything. And so, as I said, we were very lucky to get to see these heroes very close while we're very young, in the sport.
So there was a good amount of racing being held in Chile as well.
I would say not a few, the national level, but Pucón especially was just like another level of racing in terms of like even Mark Allen, I don't know, many times he come. Mm-hmm. And then, we have Chris McCollman, maybe 5 or 6 times. We have Craig Walton, and a lot of people that come, because it was just a race that I think people really want to come and explore and see what was all about. And I think the scenery was just very unique.
But so you obviously you started out through the ITU channels, but then so the longer distance stuff has also always been in there then from being from very young.
Yeah, it could be, but luckily, we got into the short distance, and when we come a Olympic event in Sydney. I, it was a hope that maybe one time we can go and qualify and make it. So I remember, especially that this in the first Olympic, Matthias Brain, the Chilean guy, even that he didn't qualify through the normal way, he still make it, and he actually, yeah, it was really cool. I can't remember exactly. I don't think so. It was live back in Chile on TV, but I remember, the whole, because we were training the same club back in Chile. So I remember he was like racing, and everyone was really into it, and yeah, I guess we have a big influence of as well. My national coach at that time, Ana Maria, he was really into shorter distance and Olympic dream. So I think I was very lucky to have that um, input in my career, rather than trying to, for too young, move to long distance.
Yeah. So how old would you have been then when he was, this guy from your local club was getting ready to tackle the first ever Olympic triathlon? That must have been quite a moment for the club.
Yeah, definitely. Can't remember exactly, but in the club is Universidad Católica. So the club, actually, Christian Bustos welcome from the same club. There was different coaches. I used always, my national coach was Ana Maria. It was a woman, and these other guys. After you turn, I think 18 or 20, you move to the older, squad, and that was running by a guy. In that time was Martin Arias, and he was like the main coach in the club. So I never really trained with them, but it was always, you will see them training sometime, similar time, and it was, yeah, very inspiring. And yeah, I guess you start to get the feeling of what something it takes to really committed to be professional athlete.
Mm. And without the sort of infrastructure and support of a national federation as it was then, or certainly didn't probably have the resources of many. How hard was it for you in terms of exposure to race formats, to training techniques, and so on? Was it difficult?
Yeah, it was quite difficult because at that time we were three children, and my dad want to always give the same opportunity to the three of us. My younger brother is still racing, Gaspar, but um, but yeah, I think even I remember a few times he will be just spending his money to send us overseas, and then the school will call him, say, you haven't paid the membership for your kid, and he will trying to juggling everything to trying to do things to we still be able to go to races, to go to, I don't know, Pan American Championship, South American Championship. A few times we went to America for a training camp, and we really see, wow, we are really ahead of what the other nation are in compare of us, like in terms of like technique or how they see triathlon, and yeah, I think I always very grateful of the passion my dad put in, and as I said, he could be having a more like cruisy and easy life rather than be really stressed in terms of money and trying to find different place to get the funding for us to keep developing.
And has that sort of graft element, I suppose, that your dad had to keep you going in those early stages? Is that something that you feel has kept you going as well? You know, it's a long time that you've been at the top, and it's, you know, presumably within that time, there's been like highs and lows, you know, in every sense, but it's difficult to get the resources to keep going, right? It's not a cheap sport to stay at the top of.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, I always, you know, as we talked before, I have spent a lot of time in Australia. I come to Australia, and I pretty much will say my professional triathlon career started when I moved to Australia. Focus for us was to go to a university to find a good squad, and at the same time study some English, because at that time I couldn't even say hello and my name and anything. So that's where I ended up in Wollongong University, and then I met Jamie Turner, and then I come back to Chile. 2007 I went to uni, studying nutrition, and but then, you know, I was taking, you know, part-time study, and then training, and I thought I was doing the right thing. Then I went to 3 World Cup and I got lap. Uh, and then I was like, oh my god, you know, this is another level. And then it it really put you. I remember in my first World Cup that I finished, that was TC. I remember like the next day I was swimming, and I was like, oh, I should be the happiest person because I finished my first World Cup. But actually, I was thinking, no, you know, this is not what I want. This is not. I don't want to finish second last. You know, and I think we put a lot of effort from my family, myself, and, you know, my coach. And I think something have to. I don't want to be mediocrity, you know,
Mm.
mediocrity study, mediocrity, you know, in sport. And then, you know, that's what I decided to move full time and train with Jamie. And then it was like maybe 8 months before the Olympic of Beijing. And then we he was very honest, and we have to have a strategy. I wasn't capable to finish a World Cup, so I wouldn't be able to qualify by the World Cup ranking. So they say, okay, you have the new flag. Okay, let's go for that. And at that time, I was 4 in the ranking of America. So the Mexican was in front of me. And we pretty much, every single race until the qualification period closed, it was like a fire, like a war, you know. And that mentality, it was, you know, I remember the first Conti Cup, early in January, I think it was in Argentina. Um, I told myself, you know, this won't be easy, and I have a really good swim, and I was in the front pack, and the Mexican girls that I have to beat were in the second pack, and I have a flat tire, and I lost like 4 minutes, and but then I think some people ask me how you overcome from that moment. I was like, oh, you know what? For me, it wasn't a disaster, or I wasn't a victim of the situation. I said, well, if I want to earn the qualification, I have to give everything and fight for every single point and second. And so luckily, I come back from that deficit of 4 minutes, the last maybe 500 meters of the bike, and then I give everything in the run, and I beat them in that race. I think that was the second race out of 6 races. But I think mentally that break them, because pretty much I give away 4 minutes, and I like give them 4 minutes. And before that, we were very even in the races, and even they were better than me.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I think the attitude was very like fundamental to achieve that qualification, because it was just as I said, I was a warrior. I was just like, you give, you know, 100% that day, and if you die in the field, you die. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was and as I said before, I think I very grateful to have born in Chile, because if I would be born in Australia or another country, probably I will not develop my character as a person. I think when you go through experience in life, is what develop your temple, your character, your personality, and that's something that I will be always very um, grateful of where I come from and how the journey been.
Mm. So that that flat tire and recovering from it was, would you say? I mean, that was a fairly pivotal moment in your career. Would you say like that was one of the most satisfying finishes to a race that you've had in your career? Then
I think it was one of the main races. That one and another one that it was, I think, it was triple point. It was the Pan American Championship, sorry. And if a Contica will be give you 250, the Pan American Championship will give you 750.
mm-hmm.
And that I was these two races, even that I did like 6 or 7. These two races were fundamental to actually earn that qualification. The other one was in Mazatlan in Mexico, and I usually will swim with the Mexican, but this time it was very wavy, big wave, and I just got out of the water. I couldn't pass the wave, and I got out of the water. I think a minute and a half from the best Mexican that was leading the ranking, and in my group were a lot of Mexicans. So if we got turn into a race, it would be like 5 Mexican working for 2 Mexican, and I would be by myself. So in my part was Mexican, but they were actually going in the front to slow down the group. And in the front were like 4 girls, and one of them would be the Mexican. So at the end of the bike was, I think, 2 minutes or 2 minutes something. And at that time, I said to myself as well, it's like, Barbara, you have to run the best ever 10K in your life. I knew that the race, it wouldn't be hard to win because it was that time a really good American and Canadian girls. But it was all about trying to get as close as I could to the Mexican girl. So I remember I started running 10 position, and then I moved to, I think, 4th or 5th position, but the Mexican just beat me for one spot. And that was pretty much, after that race, we have one more race. But if we count the point, it was impossible. She overtook me. So then after, she didn't even turn up to the last race. So I think these two races were crucial for Beijing Olympic qualification. And as I said, after that is where my country started to believe in me. And before that, World Triathlon was the one that believed in me and give me a scholarship in 2007. And because of that, I could, go to Australia, get access to a better coaching, and really thinking, okay, what I need to do to be a better athlete, and invest pretty much in my career. So before that, I think I didn't have that mentality.
So the impact of moving to Australia was pretty instant as well. I mean, to go from not, hardly finishing a World Cup to an Olympics within the space of 12 months, and to have a good performance at the Olympics.
Well, the funny thing is, I said 2007 I raced like 3 World Cup, which one I finished just one. So 2008 didn't really race World Cup, and my mindset or my mind space was, I hope I don't get lapped in the Olympic. So that was like pretty much like, luckily the laps were like bigger, but it's still, I was like, I don't want to get lapped in the Olympic. So we were really focusing the swim with my coach, Jeremy Turner, at that time. And I never been in Beijing before, so I didn't know what to expect of the course. Luckily, Jamie was the year before in a World Cup, so he knew exactly what to expect about, temperature, humidity, water temperature. It was a big hill there. So yeah. So it's just want to finish the race, don't get lapped, and trying to do my best with the pretty much all my heroes at the time, and and I was really happy the way it finished and how I could handle everything.
Yeah. What kind of course was it out there, and what were the conditions like?
So it was very hot and humid. We race, I think 7 o'clock, something like that. It was, I think, one big lap on the swim. Then it was, blue carpet where you can feel if, I don't know, if the air temperature was 30 something in that blue carpet, you could feel at 40 degree. But so that was where the transition was in the grandstand. And then you have a very hilly course, especially the first part was a long hill, then a bit rolling, then another hill, and then a big light descent. I can't remember exactly how many laps were, but yeah, it was some strength involved there, some good climbing, sure and sharp, and then you have to handle the humidity and the heat well. So we did some heat prep before, because we were in Australia and that was winter. We did some heat prep, trying to simulate the temperature and the humidity, and I remember that was really tough. But I think it's probably very similar what we'll have to face in Tokyo this year. So um, yeah, hopefully I bring some memory from there and trying to get it right.
And lining up in Beijing, there, was that a feeling like no other? Is that one of those things that would be impossible to recreate?
Yeah, definitely. I remember, um, I watched the open ceremony in Australia, and it was a pretty short flight. So we were just arriving, I don't know, 4 or 5 days before. I remember being in the village. It was, I don't know, it was the best option, but that's what my country wanted. I couldn't change things. A lot of the Australian people were like just, I don't know, a few k's from the start line, in a village there. Um, so yeah, in the village was, Olympic Village was pretty much, yeah, a few days before my race. Usually the swimming start earlier. So I was in the swimming pool in the village, because the whole facility of the game was amazing. It was standard, and next to me was Mike Feld, and I just been watching him on TV. He probably have, I don't know, three or four medals at the time, gold medals, and I was, oh my god, he's a hero, and he's a human, like he's real. And I remember watching him just chatting with someone else next to me in the next line, and yeah, it was just unreal. And every time you go to the diving room, you will see Stephanie Rice, Australian swimmer. She was winning everything at that time as well, and they were like in a very relaxed mood because they pretty much finished. um, so yeah, it was just, as you said, a very incredible experience, just to be in the village. And then focusing my race as well is hard when you are in a village, when you have a lot of sport focus something in your race, because I feel is when you race World Cup, you are with people that are just focused one race. There, I feel you have so many climax, like one race, gold medal, go are very happy, in the diving room. Then, but the triathlon hasn't compete yet, or I don't know, or the athletics.
Mm.
So it's a very important to keep it focused and trying to don't get overwhelming, because it's really easy to lose the focus.
So you're being chased down by Emma and Lisa. In that situation, what is your is the mentality like? Right, I'm finishing this race for myself, or I'm finishing this race for my coach, or it's just I'm just going to keep. Yeah, I've just got to give it all I can. There's no, you're not someone who's going to drop out. Then.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a person that I always never been in the front pack really, so always I'm a chaser. So even that I don't have a good race, I still trying to convince myself to give my best shot. Even that day I feel 70% of my potential, I still said, okay, Barbara, just like I even in the race, trying to give a second or third chance to myself. I said, okay, this didn't go right. Okay, keep going. Like you don't know what will happen in 5-10 minutes, and so I tried to not be too emotional um, about what is going on, and just trying to say, okay, just keep going and give your best shot. I have some really good season, like 2010. I have a breakthrough season, and even sometimes it's very special. For example, finish second last in 2009 in Gold Coast, and then 2010 in Sydney, win the race, in a sprint finish, and that's unreal. Like I always dreamed to make a World Cup podium, but I never thought it would be so soon, and in a World Series, because World Cup is a World Cup and then World Series is another level. um and so yeah, it's just, and especially Sydney was so special because it was like 10 years after the Olympic Games, and in the same finish shoot, and yeah, it was very special for me. And then 2011 was a good season as well. um I wasn't very happy with my result at London game, because a few things went wrong the before the race, more like logistic stuff. But at the same time, I learned a lot, and again, coming back, that every experience has teach me something, and that's what I like to take. And as well, when I chat with my coaches, I always say, oh, okay, this one didn't go the way we wanted, so we should learn from that, reflect, and move on. And yeah, I think I'm open, to always experience, and trying to read the sign of what life wanna tell me in that moment. It's like, and I think for me and for my family, Rio was something very special as well, because it kind of everything that we couldn't um, uh, express in London, we trying to make it right, and did it in Rio. So again, a lot of people say, "Oh, Barbara, you could have saved yourself better in the bike. Maybe you could be running better." And I was like, "No, if you actually see the result, the last 2 years before the game, all the girls who beat me had beat me before, and I put myself as a contender up there. Um, it could be like a breakaway I think two times that we have a little gap with Nicola, and one time with Flora as well. But again, I the next day I couldn't even walk properly, and that's told me. I mean, told me that I give everything. So it's really easy to reflect. If I give it here, if you didn't got dropped in the last lap on the run from the British, and I was like, it it the way it is. They were better. I give 100% of what I got the day, and the next day I hardly could walk,
Yeah.
and that said to me that I give everything. People were talking about rating, and they said, "Oh, Barra, I think was the highest rating in the whole game." And even when they have so opera, they always compare with soap opera, on TV, and they say I have better ranking the soap opera, and it's because UK, I walk away without a medal. And I think a lot of we don't have many medals, so I think we don't have any gold medal at all. Or we have one, sorry, in tennis. But um, yeah, of course, they probably were wishing a medal, um, but the way I fight, the way I put myself in the best position as I could over there, they were just so proud. They said, "Oh, it just made every single people, you know, like having goosebump and just stay the 2 hours in front of the TV. And I think that is live more than as a medal. Sometimes give, you know, hope, give some it go through yeah, I think deeper into the people. Like it actually leave a big legacy for a lot of people that don't even follow sport. It just give them hope, hope of a little person, I don't know, that is like me, can do many things, you know. And it's unlimited, the way of how you wanna move or aim for things.
And you beat the soap, so you know maybe your own soap opera when you retire is the way to go.
No, I don't think so. It's so over. I hate it.
um, but yeah, do you get the sense that you know, obviously your brother has been racing a long time as well, Diego Moya, Felipe, and Macarena, and so on. You know, what is the next push that triathlon in Chile needs to get the next Barbara Riveros?
You know, it's funny because a lot of people try to replicate the same way or the same path I have done. So, you know, Felipe Brasa went to Australia. My brother went to Australia to the same coach, you know, and but it's so many things in the equation that I have to get right to see a person succeed, you know, and none of them. Or you see now they're racing, but even more people try it, follow exactly the same system. But as I said, it's a lot of things in the equation that you have to get it right to achieve it. You know, in many ways as well. For them, the door were already open, so they don't. As I said, you open a door, and then through the process, you build your character.
Obviously, last year was, you know, unique in many ways, but as far as being at this stage, looking towards a new season, how are you feeling? How are you approaching it compared to, you know, the last decade?
Well, it's been really tough. In terms of like 2018, I have a lot of injury. I tore my plantar, and it's been really hard to recover from that, and as well get into close to my level. Uh, so dealing with injury has been tough. Trying to find some answer in terms of coaching. So at the moment, I'm just trying to focus to qualify. Like if the ranking finished today, I'm qualified to the game. But we might, you know, race a few workout before the game, so I have to defend the point there. And for me, I want to be healthy. I want to have consistent training, and that would make me, you know, happy and stronger as an athlete. If I cannot achieve that, it's really hard for me to perform my best level. So at the moment, I'm trying to find the path. I'm trying to get back and enjoy the sport, and yeah, and qualify to my last game, I guess, if I do it.
Well, Barbara, it's been great to catch up with you. Thanks ever so much for coming on.
No, thank you. You know, it was a great. Yeah, I always feel so grateful with our triathlon, and yeah, if it wouldn't be for you guys, probably will be just a nutritionist and not even having a big dreams to represent not just my country but all the people that have been in this journey and have believed in myself. So yeah, thank you so much.
Diego Moya is the 23-year-old from Santiago who had a breakthrough 2019 with a first World Cup podium in Antwerp. One of the strongest swimmers out there, consistency has brought success, and now the push for an Olympic place is well and truly on. So, Diego, how are you?
Hey, all good. Thank you. Thank you for this invitation and this opportunity to to share a little bit of me.
You're in Chile right now, yeah?
Yes, yes. Now I'm at my parent house, so it's really good to be here. And yes, very simple. They do everything for me, so that's good.
Nice. And yeah, you were brought up in Santiago, is that right?
Yeah, so we live in the capital of Chile.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit complicated to train because for the traffic, and it's a big city, but where we train is like in the mountains. So we have quite good road to train, and it's beautiful. And so I train with a club. In the name is Triathlon UC. So in there we have the pool, the track session. So I live really like 10 minutes from my house, so it's perfect.
And have there been some local races you've been able to do as well, or has it really just been training all the way?
Just training. We supposed to do some like national champs and another races, but they all suspended because of the COVID. So we're just training for the future.
So, as a young man growing up in Santiago, how did you come to discover triathlon, and how easy or hard was it to find people to train with and to train you and so on?
Okay, so I started running actually for my school at I don't know 7 years old. So that was my sport, running for the school, and then I tried swimming, and I joined a club near my school. So with my mom, we realized that we have the run and the swim, so we just missing the bike. And then I joined a competition, a duathlon, and I went pretty well. I didn't win, but I really enjoyed it. And I saw all this club with the uniform, and it was a really new world for me. So we start to investigate, and we saw this big club, Triathlon UC, and I tried to see how it's go. So since I was 10 years old, I started training in the same club, Triathlon UC. So since then to now, I'm still training there with the same coach. So they really see this progress, and it's perfect for me because I have a lot of trust, and that's the most important thing to be a good athlete, I think.
Well, yeah, tell us a bit about about your coach.
When I joined the club, my head coach didn't she didn't care about me because I was young. She had other responsibility with the elite athlete in that moment. And then I still training with another coach, but from the same club. So I had a lot of friends, and then when I was 16, 17, I changed my coach to the head coach, and in that group was Felipe Barraza, my other teammate. So in that time, I start to see this competitive world of triathlon. I start to travel in South American Championship, Pan American, and the World Cup. And my head coach say, okay, now you can train with us. So from that moment, I see big step. And also with Felipe Barraza, he teaching me a lot of things. It was amazing because he has a lot of experience. So it was perfect for me.
Yeah, like you said, you were doing the sort of South American circuit a little bit, right? As a junior,
Yeah.
Which in 2016 finished up in Cozumel. Was that your first experience of a race of that sort of scale and size and so on? And how was that as a young man coming through in the sport?
It was really I was chugging because I didn't know what to go to, because all the South American champ, the level is really it's different. We just prepare for the running, not for the swim or the bike. And when I went to to Gold Coast, I realized that it wasn't just swimming and running; it was also the bike. So in the bike, I suffered like hell. I couldn't stay in the first pack, and I dropped to the second, and then I had to run with I have left. and it was a good place for me, 13. So then I realized that okay, the level outside of South America is completely different. So I need to start to focus on that, and then I start the training camp in Portugal, so and have that feeling in the races with the European guys and from the other parts. So that's was a really big change for me to realize the level of the bike that they are riding right now.
Mm. Yeah, so 2017, you then kind of was that your first experiences in Europe and those races, and obviously, so 2017 was Rotterdam was the grand final.
Yeah, you're right. Rotterdam. That was my first world champ as junior. Yeah, right. You're right.
But Cozumel 2016 as well, no?
Cozumel. Yeah, Cozumel. You're right. Cozumel was 16. Then
16.
Rotterdam junior. After Cozumel, I didn't did like I supposed to do. So then Rotterdam, I had the same feeling that I didn't do my best. So then in Gold Coast, I said, okay, if I'm not finished top 15, I don't know if I'm capable to. I don't know if I'm good enough to be part of this sport because I have to put like limits. So then in Gold Coast, I did pretty well, finishing 13. So I decided to give my 100% to the triathlon and not to study. So from that moment, I started to do better in the races.
And did that decision, that finally, that that moment where you're like, this is it now, this is what I'm pursuing. I mean, to start with, that must have felt amazing to know that this was what you were going to dedicate yourself to, and then to follow that with what was a great start to 2019, right? I mean, well, Antwerp was what came in June, but I was there. I spoke to you shortly after that race in the interview, and like the just the joy of the moment for you was clear that.
Yeah, that's right. But yes, it's also difficult for the athlete or for a person like for me. Say to my parents, okay, I'm gonna dedicate to the sport because here in Chile we are not used to do that. You're supposed to study and do triathlon, but as a hobby. So when I took that decision, my parents, of course, they support me, but they say, okay, try. We will support you. Try for 2-3 years, and then let's see how it goes. So in that moment, I have the support of my parents. So that also give me like an extra power to do the thing better because it was not just for me, also for my family, for my coaches. So it was like a big team to support me.
Can you remember, that feeling, that first time on the podium? Presumably, it's the sort of thing that you want to remember pretty clearly. And it's a tough course, that as well, right?
Yeah, it was really tough. The cobblestone was my first race with cobblestone, so I didn't know how to do that in that race. But it was amazing. I mean, I still can like thinking that I came third. I really exploded my mind in that moment. And also, I had really good company for that race. My teammate, some friends. So also, it was a really special moment in that race. Not just running for me, also running for my friends.
When 2020 is supposed to be, that moment of full punching through, and to have the brakes put on like that, how hard has that been to deal with?
For me, not that much of a pressure actually. I'm just taking like really calm. That's right, that I was like with the fluence of the races and the big goal of 2020 Olympic Games. So that was like my goal. But then with the pandemic, we start to realize that okay, I'm still young, and this year of like freezing year, let's say that. It's better for me because I'm the youngest, so it's better for me training more and prepare better for the next races. So yes, I had a really good like fluence of the races, but I was just taking fun, enjoy the sport, and not really focus on the result. Just racing because it's what I love actually. So that's 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 the goal. Do what you love.
So as soon as Hamburg was back on the schedule, there was never any doubt. Then you were like, right, that's you got to get on that start line.
Yeah. So when we was in quarantine, we of course we tried to figure out some races, and then when Hamburg was on, we just the same day we write to the federation. Okay, I want to go that race and see the level and how we're preparing since we stopped the calendar. So that was a really tough race. It was like my first, let's say, elite race because there was Vincent Louis, Bradley. So for me, it was difficult. I came with 6 weeks of just swimming because we had lockdown and I didn't have a pool to train in my house. So it was just about the bike and run. And yeah, I had the chance to swim 6 weeks and then the race. And still I'm really happy about that result and really give me a note like what I have to improve to be in that level. And that's just the bike for me. I need to improve that, and that's going to be my focus of this year. And since that race to now.
And even that experience of just coming out of the water so close to Ali Brownlee and Vincent Louis, right? And
yeah, of course. I mean, to see like it's completely different to see in a stream to compete with them. So I really know what I have to improve to be part of the first pack. So because I have the stream, but I didn't have the legs of keep in the bicycle to the run. So that was to me a big learn, like what I've taken back home, and it's just improve the bike to have that power to be with them.
So is this like, is that purely like volume you've been doing since then, like, you know, to try and up that level, specific sort of power?
Yeah, right. It's like volume, but not just riding 200 watts or 150, 170, just riding, but hard, 250, 250 watts. That's what I'm going to achieve. Like that's my goal to I don't know if I have 5 hours of just riding, hopefully be in that power average. And then because now we're doing long trainings, but then we were in a specific, especially for the race, we start to do some fast and more power training. So it's like more volume in the bike on the bike.
And what is left in terms of achieving the Olympic qualification?
Well, now I have the new flag. I know a new flag invitation. That's on my name, so that's like a good relief, and because I don't have to be like praying to have one race because now they're canceling everything. Yeah, right now has my name, so I'm really happy. So that will be a really good goal and achievement for me and for my family and for my teammates. But now, if we have a new race, I need to be there. Like I have to defend that position. So that's my next goal for the next races, like to be there and finishing better than my other rivals that they're trying to do that, and they're trying to get the new flag position. I have to beat an Argentinian guy and a Colombian guy. So I have to see if they're going to race. I have to be there and try to beat them, whatever it takes. And also I have the support of one teammate that he's a really good swimmer. So in any race, we will try to get away from the swim and try to win the race. So we're really focused on that plan, and also be calm. Like if I have to go to the Olympic, I will go, and if I don't have to go, I won't. I mean, I still have a lot of years of more training preparation, so I'm not really like pressure or anxious to get to the Olympics right now.
And how is the general Chile triathlon landscape at the moment? You know, you mentioned Felipe. Obviously, he's been a big influence on you, and you know, people like Gaspar and so on coming through as well. There's a good amount of talent coming through.
Yeah, we all start with Barbara Riveros. She also trained in where I train now in Triathlon, but when she was younger in a junior.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always had these friends. They are with me in the training, but it's quite different because it's different volume, intensity. But I'm always with someone because it really helped me mentality, because it's a really tough sport. But yeah, we have a lot of like new people that they're coming from other places, so it's a bit they have all the same opportunity as me to be racing with the elite athlete. So I have a lot of faith in them. They just need to believe in the coach and do what they have to do, nothing more. I think it's really simple actually. Anyone can do it, so it's not like you have to born with that talent. I think everyone can do any sport and really good. Just need to believe in what they're doing.
Is she someone that, you know, have your paths crossed over the years in recent seasons? Is she someone that will kind of say hello and check in on how you're doing and so on as well?
Yeah, of course. We're from the same country, so of course we are like teammates. And if I need something, I will count on Barbara, and if she needs something, she will count on me. So, but yeah, we don't have that like super feeling because she's another place and I'm here. So, but we're from the same country, and we always count on her, and she's also a good reference, and I really admire her for what is she still doing, like competing and be one of the best of the world.
And if the World Cup calendar, you know, as planned, sort of begins to kick in May with, you know, Azucena and Lisbon and so on, are they ones that you'll be heading for? Or
straight ahead? Like, actually now I'm gonna write to my federation and say, let's get me there, whatever it takes, because I need to be there ready for the race. So that's like that's my goal if that race is still on.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hopefully we'll see you there then.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
And yeah, thanks very much for coming on. It's been great to talk.
No, thank you. Yeah, thanks you. And sorry if my English doesn't understand, but I try my best. I will practice more, but thank you very much for this opportunity.
Do check out the full video versions of the recent Hayden Wild and Jake Birtwistle podcasts and the new Going Beyond series on triathlonlive.tv. Thanks for listening.